Hello everyone, my name is PolishLynx and welcome to the third episode of Depression Quest. Right now, we probably are an owner of a cat. Actually our friend from work called if we want a cat. It was not actually a hard choice. It was to take a cat, or the cat would end up in a shelter. So I decided to take, and we'll see what this will bring to us. You accept the offer of the kitten and hung up shortly after making arrangements for when your coworker can drop her off tonight. After hanging up, you worry about if you're suddenly taken on a responsibility that you can't handle, and you hope you don't make a small animal suffer for it. You're not entirely sure what to expect, and you spend the rest of the afternoon searching cat care online and trying to think of a name. The evening rolls around and you hear a knock at your door, startling you out of reading Wikipedia and relative too hard. You take possession of a small terrified black and white kitten in a carrier, along with everything you need to start taking care of her. You take her into your bedroom, close the door, and open the door to the carrier excitedly. She cowers in the back of it, and you back off, feeling slightly defeated. You remember what you searched on introducing a kitten to a new home and leave her alone to go mess around on your computer, hopefully checking over your shooter every so often to see if she has come out yet. She hides inside her carrier, periodically making sorrowful cat holes, long enough for you to start worrying that she already doesn't like you. But by the time you go to bed, she's curled up at the foot of it, eyeing you nervously before falling asleep. Over the next few days, you gained her trust, and she begins affectionately following you around, sleeping on you and hopping on you anytime you sit down to do some work. Well, so I guess this relationship will work out. It's not going bad, I think. It's late Friday afternoon and quitting time is just around the corner. Quitting time? A bright, clear day is giving way. I wonder what's the name of the cat actually. A bright, clear day is giving way to a still, temperate evening. You can hear your coworkers all around. You're anxiously making plans for their evenings and weekends, but you're really looking forward to just going home and resting after what's turned out to be a very long and taxing work week. Just before the end of your shift, you get a call from Alex. It seems a group of your mutual friends are heading out to a nearby pub for dinner and drinks to celebrate the end of the week, and they want to know if you'd like to come along. You tentatively tell her that you're emotionally exhausted from the work week, and a social outing like that would just take too much out of you today. You encourage her to go and have a good time, since you know it's been a while since she's gone out with friends. But the effort feels futile, since you know that she isn't going to go without you. A couple hours later, the two of you find yourself in a familiar position on the couch watching comedy shows on Netflix. A box of pizza open on the coffee table in front of you. As you look across the couch at her, you start to feel anxious. You feel bad about effectively forcing the two of you to stay in tonight again. While you are always appreciative of your partner's efforts to take your feelings into account and help make sure you're socially comfortable, you sincerely worry that you are holding her back from enjoying a more fulfilling relationship. While she does seem to enjoy spending time with you, as the two of you sit in comfortable, almost contented silence watching old shows you've each seen 2 or 3 times before you've ever Your ever-increasing fear that your relationship is becoming one-sided weighs more and more heavily on you. You feel more than ever like a burden or a war to her, and it's virtually impossible for you to see what value you could possibly offer her in return. Worst of all, this nagging fear has made you feel more self-conscious than ever, withdrawing ever inwards, and you have started to pull away even from Alex herself. What do you do? Two options, not possible. Despite the bad times in government knows. Okay, that would be a great option. Tell Alex some. Ask Alex if she's happy. Don't say anything good about her being upset with you. Oh man. Don't say anything is a bad thing. That's my opinion. Well, saying something stupid is a bad thing too, even more. But let's face it. Relationship is not about yourself. It's about the person that you are with. And in a relationship, you are not doing everything to make yourself happy, but to make the person you are with happy. So I go with the third option, even it might be a very bad option for our guy. You look over at Alex, who hasn't noticed you watching her yet, and you try to parse the expression on her face. You worry that it's one of sheer boredom and tolerance. You wonder if she's thinking about all of the fun things she could have been doing tonight if she wasn't trapped on this couch with you, ordering from one of the same three takeout places that you always order from. A sense of disappointing her creeps over you as you picture what the night could have been if you had just accepted the invitation she had made earlier. I know this is a pretty boring Friday night for you. Are you really happy being with me, being like this? She turns to look at you, forehead wrinkled. Why do you ask me that so often? You feel her body stiff and pull away from yours just a little. Oh man, well I mean, you start but are unable to try and think to how to answer. I know it's not what you usually be up to. I don't know. I guess I get kind of worried that you're getting bored sometimes. Never mind. Never mind is a bad choice, in my opinion. I don't know. I guess I get kind of worried that you're getting bored sometimes. I know it's not what you'd usually be up to. Hard choice, 3 or 4. I know it's not what you'd usually be up to. I go with 4th. Alex says, look, if that were the case, I would let you know. I don't think you're boring. You're more of a homebody than I am. I'm learning how to deal with that. Deal with what you think, repeating it in your mind. Does she see you as a problem to be dealt with? No, she doesn't. You try to pick her reply apart in your mind, and all of your conclusions lead to a previous worry that you're holding her back. You begin thinking that the phrasing was chosen without too much deliberation, and that despite her attempts at reassuring you, this slip of the tongue revealed her true feelings. As you picture how much fun she would be having right now if you had only accepted her invitation and managed to somehow get over your reservations and anxieties. Despite not knowing how you would go about that, she cuddles back up to you. Thanks for putting up with me, you say, staring at the TV without actually watching it. She sighs in response. You are deeply hotly or no interest for you, and you exist in a constant state of lethargy. Okay, so our depression change. It is a breezy Sunday afternoon. You've allowed Amanda, an old friend from school that is in town for the weekend, to talk you into leaving the house for coffee and catch up. You meet her in a small cafe, and talk about what you've been up to since you've last seen each other, and you can't help but feel like they are a lot more accomplished and interesting than you are while listening to them talk about their life after school. When it's your turn to brief them on your activities, you feel anxious and ashamed and give a very abbreviated version. You try to talk about your job as little as possible, and you feel incredibly boring while you describe it, despite her expressing sincere interest in you and your life. Amanda has known you long enough to read your mood and tone of voice. She leans in to ask a question while gently touching your hand, a look of genuine concern on her face. What's wrong? Nothing is wrong, I change the subject. No, that's definitely not gonna happen. The third option is the bad option. Defensively ask what she means by that. Notice that your hands are shaking. You're by your, you mean mine, right? I don't know. I would love to tell her, but I can't. Third option is not an option for me. I'm not choosing that. Definitely ask what she means by that. Notice that your hands are shaking. I don't want to, but actually depressed person probably would be defensive. But let's ask her what she means. That might be. Do you think something's wrong with me? You start to feel incredibly insecure as the realization creeps over you. Something you had said in your conversation made it seem like you were defective to her, and you find yourself feeling incredibly exposed. Amanda pulls away and apologizes. Oh no, I didn't mean anything by that. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I should go with shaky hands. You apologize as well and say that it's probably because you haven't been sleeping well. She tries to steer the conversation to one of mutual interest while you're still feeling incredibly embarrassed and vulnerable. And you find it hard to focus on what she's actually saying because you're busy analyzing your behavior in your own head while making small talk. The awkward undertone remains and the outing ends soon after that. I think that was a bad choice. It's a glaringly sunny Monday, and one of the few days that your brother Malcolm is in town and free long enough for you two to actually see each other. You have a dental appointment that day, but you make plans for him to pick you up afterwards. Your appointment takes a little longer than expected because your dentist tells you that you've started grinding your teeth in your sleep to a worrying degree. Given how nearly everything in your life has been feeling enormous and stressful lately, this doesn't come as a surprise to you. He suggests fat, you try to reduce your stress level and fits you for a night guard. It feels awkward and too big for your mouth, and you feel embarrassed looking at your puffed up face in the mirror with it in. You finish up the appointment in a hurry and leave about a half an hour overdue, forbidding your always punctual brother in the parking lot. I mean, you don't have to be worried about the look of this thing in your mouth. You put it on at night, right? So no one is looking. And it's for your good, right? You finish up as quickly as possible and leave the building to scan the parking lot for your brother's car, but you don't see his old Civic anywhere. You pass by a blue Camaro and jump as it beeps at you, causing you to jump in surprise. It takes you a moment to realize it, but it's Malcolm in the driver's seat. Whoa. He accomplished a lot if he has. Oh, it's Camaro, not Camaro. I'm bad. You hop in the passenger seat and compliment him on his new ride, and he mentions that it's a perk of a promotion he's recently obtained at work. He starts telling you about how much more money he's making, how his car is really taking off, and how he's starting to look with his wife soon. You clutch the bag containing the night guard in your hand and feel yourself clench your teeth as you think of your crummy apartment and how long it's been you've been able to take a day off work without having to worry about making ends meet. He's only 2 years older than you, but it feels like he's eons ahead of you in every other aspect of your life. So he asks, how did your apartment go? Did you get drilled full of holes or what? A sense of shame creeps over you. Lie, tell him about the true green problem. I'm not gonna lie, but let's go with this. Okay, the choice was made fast. And that's the end of this episode. And hopefully someone will help him. I really hope, because that's the point. How can no one notice that? I see you in the next episode. Bye.